But then, when he reached the gate of heaven, that's what my grandma called the vaginal entrance, he couldn't go in. My wedding was so much fun. We danced for 8 hours straight. And after that, Ben and I went to the hotel. I was so ready for part 2 of the night. Ben helped me remove about 20 pins from my hair, and I put on a beautiful silk nightgown. I felt really confident, like a celebrity. Nancy Ajram, to be specific. Khasmak. On the king-size bed, Ben and I started to enjoy ourselves. But then, when he reached the gate of heaven, that's what my grandma called the vaginal entrance, he couldn't go in. Try to relax. I tried. But then suddenly, this sharp, intense pain, like scissors, were being shoved inside me. And I screamed. He stopped. I took a breath. Okay, let's try again. Are you sure? Yes, let's try again. So we tried again, but my knees locked, my jaw clenched, and every inch of my body was tense. It really confused me because I couldn't wait for this night. I loved him, I was so attracted to him, and we had so much chemistry, so I didn't understand why my body was giving me these mixed signals. Feel desire, be afraid, be sensual, close the damn gate. We needed divine intervention. I pulled out a prayer rug. And I prayed, and with every bow, I prayed that my vagina would open. So we tried again. But this time, I disassociated from my body. I became a drone hovering above it. I watched as Ben handed me a tissue. I saw tears roll down my face. This wasn't the wedding night that I'd imagined. The next day, we were the guests of honor at a family gathering. And as soon as we entered, all the aunties welcomed us. Whee! My cousins and sisters came up to me. So, how'd it go? I lied, of course. I may have even added a few hot details. Back at the hotel, I wanted to try those hot details. But didn't work. The pain persisted. Ben noticed my disappointment and said, "You probably just need time." But I didn't need time. I wanted this, and I wanted it now. And I didn't know what was going on with me. The internet had no answers for me. This was 15 years ago. I didn't know what was going on. So I went to my gynecologist, and in her office, I whispered, "I can't have sex." I couldn't say those words out loud. Sex was so natural. My grandma had sex. Why couldn't I? I tried to explain to her the extent of my pain, but she didn't really seem to get it. She just said, "Honey, just take a Tylenol and don't think about it too much." Genius idea. Still, I took the Tylenol and we tried again. But guess what? It was still damn painful. And while it was painful, I told Ben, and I can't believe I said this, but I said, "Ben, just keep pushing even if I scream, even if I tell you to stop." Yep. Thankfully, he didn't. Don't worry, audience, he didn't. But I knew after that something was really seriously off. I just didn't know what. I needed answers. So I went to a homeopathic doctor who lived on a boat. Yeah. And I thought, surely someone who lives on a boat, must be wise. I'll have some good, answers for what's going on with me. She was kind, gave me some good remedies to help ease my anxiety, but the vaginal pain persisted. Luckily, we found a famous sex therapist. And we booked an appointment, and in her office, she didn't ask me any health questions. I didn't fill out any questionnaires. And she chatted with us for exactly 7 minutes. I know this because Ben timed it. And after the 7 minutes, she told me, "You have princess syndrome. You are acting like a princess, and you are not allowing him inside you." Yeah, so you can guess how I felt. I left that office and I turned to Ben and told him, "Our relationship is over. You deserve a vibrant sex life." But we have a sex life. We do everything except that. And that's gonna come, he said. I tried to believe him, but the doctor's words just imprinted on me. And I felt so much shame. I felt so weak, like a coward. I thought I was selfish. I carried guilt. I just hated myself. And I fell into a depression. I slept a lot, too much, or couldn't sleep at all. I pushed him away, told him to leave me several times. And I even shouted, "I hate you," a few times to get him to leave. But he still stuck by me. And, sorry. Thank you, Ben, for that moment. Yeah. And the worst part of this is, with time, because I associated sex with pain, anything even remotely linked to sex, anything that could lead to sex, was now associated with pain. So a kiss, a hug, even a touch would make me flinch. And so we started to do even less and less of those intimate things. And that's a disaster for a failed marriage, right? We were just losing each other. And in order to save our relationship, we decided to move to Yemen, my country of birth. We thought a change, in atmosphere maybe will help us. But soon after we arrived, a revolution started in the country, which slightly distracted us, right, from working on our relationship. And after that, we stopped even trying anything physical. We were still connected as friends, best friends even, but we were simply platonic at that time. I love him, but feared his body. And we stayed that way for 3 more years. Yeah, 3 more years. Until one day, my sister had her first baby, and I flew to Montreal to be with them. And my parents, of course, were wondering, when are you gonna have your baby, right? Because I didn't tell anyone what was going on. I was too ashamed. And when they asked me about my baby, I felt a knot in my stomach, right? And I couldn't tell them anything, and I didn't want to tell them, I think it's never gonna happen. So I just stayed silent. Then one night, everybody was asleep, I was watching TV, and a woman appeared on the TLC channel talking about, very honestly and without an ounce of shame, about the pain she felt when she was trying to have penetrative sex. And she said the words, "It was like there was a wall blocking him." And I couldn't believe what I heard. That was exactly how I was feeling. I got up from the couch and started jumping and pointing to the screen, looking around me, but there was no one there, right? But I was so excited, and then a doctor came on the screen and talked about a medical condition called vaginismus. Vaginismus, still hard for me to say sometimes. Basically, involuntary muscle spasms that may lead to severe pain. I had a word for what I was going through, and it meant the world to me. I immediately Skyped with Ben, told him the good news, and saw a smile on his face. When and where can you get treatment? Soon afterwards, I started physical and cognitive therapy, and guess what? Few weeks after that, we finally did it! And it was, that first time was anticlimactic. I'm sorry, Ben. But, I continued physical therapy and cognitive therapy, and I was able to have a pap smear for the first time, wear a tampon, and to finally have beautiful, pleasurable, pain-free, penetrative sex. And ultimately, that led to the creation of 2 beautiful and sometimes obnoxious children. And I can tell you now that it was definitely worth the wait. After being exiled from my body for so long, returning home wasn't a small achievement. It really was everything. Thank you.